Yo, what's going on, Serpa Squad? Tanner here. A couple weeks ago we did the update on the front yard pond here. I'll link that video up there. But in this one, it's all about the backyard DIY pond. So let's go ahead and take a look. Just like the front yard pond, the backyard DIY pond overwintered just fine. However, it suffered the same issues that one did, and that's that I didn't put a net on in time for the fall. All the leaves fell into the pond and we got a lot of algae because of the leaves. So just like that one, I got to get in here, do some maintenance, and why don't we do that and then we'll take an updated look at the pond. Much like the other one, I'm going to get in there with a scrub brush and a net. I think I'm going to start out with the overflow box here and just scrub off all of this algae that's hanging on the overflow, and then I'll get down on the bottom with the net and scoop out all of those leaves and algae, and then after that I'll probably go in and clean the filter and do that sort of thing. So let's get started. Here it is after a little bit of maintenance. I pulled a lot of leaves and algae out of the bottom. I scrubbed off the filter's overflow here, scrubbed off all of the driftwood, and then I pulled a lot of algae off of the plant islands here. So a little bit of work. I think I want to let it sit for about a day or two and let this all clear up so I can get back in there again and get the remaining leaves and algae out of there. So let's step forward a little bit. So here we are nearly 2 months later. It's a beautiful morning and the pond is looking quite nice. I know that a lot of people said this wouldn't last even a week or a month or whatever, but here we are. It's looking good. That water is crystal clear. The plants have established themselves quite well, and overall it's looking pretty good. The first thing you probably noticed is how well all of the plants have really started to fill in the space, even this early in the season. It's great to see. Obviously all of the plants didn't make it, but the majority of them did, and the ones that did have really taken hold and are doing quite well. Especially over here on the right side of the pond, the way that looks is exactly what I had envisioned for the entire pond. Obviously it's a little bit of an unnatural looking structure. We have a huge wooden block on the back, which is the filter, and then the pond itself has a wooden rail, all that sort of thing. And it looks kind of out of place, but I feel like with the addition of all the plants, they soften the edges, and even though it does look unnatural, it doesn't look quite out of place. Of course, on the back side there's not nearly as many plants growing in, but that's something that would come with time, and overall I really like the progress of the plants. Keep in mind also that I bought the majority of these plants on clearance last year. I like to do that because a lot of times they just get thrown out if nobody buys them, and usually they're just on clearance because they're past the blooming season. These irises, for example, I got them all for $5. I think there's 5 plants there, so that would have been $25, which was usually the price of one of those. And it was really cool to see them bloom this year because obviously I hadn't seen them last year. They were just leaves, and the plants have grown back about 3 times the size they were last year, and the flowers looked awesome, so I love to see that. Unfortunately though, with those clearance plants, a lot of times they're too far gone to be resuscitated. These grasses, for example, they were really dried out when I got them, and I figured I'll at least give them a shot. They were only $1 a piece, and I got 5 of them. All 5 of them didn't work, so that's unfortunate, but there was a lot of savings with the other clearance plants that I got, so I really can't complain. Something else worth mentioning about the outside landscape here is that I've selectively allowed weeds to grow around the perimeter of the planting area. So I have all creeping Charlie around this section, and I did that because I feel like it helps it blend more naturally into the grass. I like the way that the flowers look on them, and the pollinators and other things like that enjoy them as well. So I feel like they don't look out of place, they're easy to manage, and it just adds to the overall look of everything. While we're talking about the pollinators, I should probably also mention about the milkweed real quick. I have a section here and a section over there, as well as a ton of it behind my fence. I figured I have so much of it back there, I might as well take a few rhizomes and plant them around the pond. They didn't really do anything last year, and I wasn't sure if they would come back at all, but as you can see, they're coming back pretty strong this year, so I'm excited to see those. Obviously we get all of the monarchs behind the fence, but I wanted to see some around the pond as well. Also in regard to the pollinators, but not directly related to the pond, is this wildflower bed right here. I put that in as well as many flowers as I can, just to really give them a lot of spaces to hang out in. Obviously I'm creating nature places back here with the ponds and different things like that, and I just want to create as many areas for these creatures to live, so that way we can enjoy them and they can reap the benefits of it, so to speak. While we're talking about other critters reaping the benefits of my landscape, we might as well talk about the American toad. I built both of these ponds after the breeding season last year, so I really wasn't sure how these would attract the toads, but we had a ton of them this year. They were in this pond and in the one out front, and it was really cool to see because even in my lifetime, which is only 27 years, I really have seen a decline in these animals, so it's cool to create an area for them to breed and procreate, and hopefully they come back year to year. I was able to record all of that, so I'll run some footage real quick. I thought it was cool. So I really hope you enjoyed seeing that aspect of the pond. Oftentimes with these setups, the aquariums, the terrariums, all of those things, the best things happen when you're not talking and you're just observing. And for me, that was a really cool moment. I just came back here on a little bit of a rainy day. I observed, I captured some of the footage, and I thought it was a really cool thing to see. Now we'll move into the pond itself, which is looking really strong. All of the plant islands have really started to fill out for the season, which I love to see. We got the irises, the cattail, the pickerel, to name a few. I just think that with all of that plant growth inside the pond, it just completes the look. Without all of that, it wouldn't make sense. So I want this to be more of a water garden, of course, as many plants as possible. The fish enjoy it, of course, and it just looks so much better. The only thing I've added to the pond that didn't last over the winter, of course, were the water hyacinth. They're tropical plants. They don't last in these parts over the winter, which is probably a good thing because otherwise they would be invasive. I like them though because they get a lot of nice surface coverage on the pond. The fish enjoy it, and they grow really fast. So within no time, the top of this will just be covered in green, which is exactly what I want to see. Of course, I was also extremely excited to see all of the water lilies breach the water surface. They're hardy, so I expected them to overwinter just fine. But once you see that, it's just a really cool thing, and I cannot wait to see them bloom this year. Now, you've been seeing them throughout the entire process, so you already know they're doing well, but I'm sure you're curious about the goldfish. How did they overwinter? How are they doing this season? And what did you do last season to get them ready for the summer? So much like the fish in the pond out front, I didn't do anything. I just let the fish in here. Obviously it's deep enough that it doesn't freeze over completely, and they can just go to the bottom, sleep for the winter, and then they emerge like they are right now, happy as ever. I guess while I'm talking about the overwintering process, I might as well mention what I did for the pond, which also was nothing. I just let it run the whole time, and as soon as I was able to, I cleaned out the pre-filters and everything like that. And here we are a couple months later, and it's looking strong. Back to the goldfish though, they're doing extremely well, but I was really surprised to not see any more babies this season. Obviously there was those 4 that popped up, what was that, in October maybe, and they've grown up quite a lot now. They're each about 2 to 3 inches long now. We have 2 of the brown ones which will turn orange, and then we have 2 shubunkin, which is really cool. Not that I'm complaining because I'm perfectly content with what we have it stocked with now. I just expected to see more. My guess is that since it was their first season in the pond, they're still getting acclimated to things, but I guarantee that next year, that's when we'll see a lot more babies popping up. The fish have also grown quite a lot. If you remember when I was keeping the fish inside, there was that one that was always significantly larger than the others. Well, I'm happy to say that a lot of them have actually surpassed that fish, and they're all just getting really large and healthy, so I love to see it. So the fish are doing really well, the plants have become nicely established, the water is crystal clear, and overall this pond is just functioning perfectly. But honestly, that is sort of my issue with this pond. It's very functional, but I don't think it's nearly as aesthetically pleasing as the one out front. I will say though that since I built this pond completely by myself, it was built with the purpose to house the goldfish, and since it's situated in my backyard, I probably like it more than the one out front. However, just like all of my other projects, I see all of the flaws, and there's a lot of stuff about this pond that I don't like. Out of necessity, because of the way I have this pond filtered, I have a giant wooden box on the back, which serves an awesome function. Obviously, it's keeping the pond extremely clear. It just doesn't look good. You look in the yard and you have a giant wooden box sitting there. It's not the most ideal look. Of course, we could hide it with a lot of plants over time, but initially, it just doesn't look that good. Another thing is that the exterior of the pond is pretty uneven. I didn't level it out too well, so this corner back here is really low, this one's sort of low, this one's high, and this one is high as well. I should have taken my time to level it out a little bit better, but quite honestly I got fed up with the process and I thought to myself, it's good enough, it will serve the function, and it does serve the function, but that's one of those things that you want to do it right the first time, so that way later on you're not looking at it and saying, I don't like how it looks, and that's what I'm doing now retrospectively, of course. Now this is not due to the pond being uneven, but a lot of these boards are warped. I had them shipped to my house because I don't have anything big enough to haul them, so I wasn't able to pick the boards out for myself. And they sent me warped ones, so I tried to work with them, but this one on the side here, it's just warping worse and worse as time goes on. And if you step on it, it just creaks like this. So, I mean, it's not a huge issue, but it's just going to get worse and worse with time. So that's just another thing to add to the list. I will say though that even with those flaws, I do like how it looks, but more importantly, it functions perfectly, and the function was of course to house the goldfish and keep the water clean for them, and obviously it's doing exactly that. So what I'm trying to say, and what you probably would have guessed based on the way I operate with the rest of my channel, is that this is definitely something that I want to redo in the future. Obviously I like it and it is serving a function, but it was my first time trying to build something like this, and although I think I did do good for the first try, I definitely want to redo it because I think I could do better the second time. So in the not so distant future, we'll get my friends from Aquascape to come back out here and we'll transform this into an ecosystem pond. I think it will just fit the space better, and hopefully we can go slightly larger than this one. I'm honestly content with the size that this one is. I know that everybody always wants bigger, 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 but this is a good size for me, and if it were bigger, I wouldn't complain, but I like this size, so we'll see what the future holds for that. Until then though, I'm just going to continue to enjoy this pond as it currently is. I'm not going to do anything new to it, but I'll upkeep with everything, which is very minimal by the way. I just do a few water changes here or there, and other than that spring maintenance which you saw, there's not really anything that goes into it. It's a lot less maintenance than a fish tank, for example. And I knew this would work well for the long term. A lot of people doubted me in the comments of the original video, but as you can see, it's doing quite well. It's very low maintenance, and pretty much the way that I built it was just to be an oversized aquarium. It's working perfectly. Anyway, that's all I got for you in this one. I really hope you enjoyed seeing the updated look at this pond. I'll do a few more before we transform it into an ecosystem pond. But until next time, Serpa Squad, take care and peace.